It is hammer time as not only Dexter finds the hammer that was used to kill the latest Trinity victim, but he also gets the real murder weapon thanks to Arthur Mitchell's kindness. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Dexter Season 4, Episode 6. We're at the halfway point now officially of Season 4. This one is titled If I Had a Hammer, and Dexter does have a hammer by the end of this episode, and it's the hammer that kills people.
It's hammer time, boy! Yeah, this was great because I'll tell you why, right? We're actually seeing Arthur Mitchell and Dexter interact. Oh, borderline getting on like best, but it's like Miguel Prado, just a wee bit more whiter and a wee bit more of a serial killer. That's what it gave me That's what it's reminding me of.
And instead of Miguel learning from Dexter, this time it's Dexter trying to learn from Arthur Mitchell. Trying to learn how he can be this killer, but also be the ideal family man.
Absolutely. Here, just shows you can learn from anybody in life, but I'm liking this.
Yeah, Dexter likes to keep his life hidden, his secrets, his trophies, his equipment. He likes to keep all of that hidden away. Arthur Mitchell, on the other hand, he's got it all out on show. He's got his trophies hanging up on the wall. He's got his murder tools hanging out in the garage. I mean, literally in plain sight. And nobody knows. There's nothing they can do about it. So, I mean, it's totally night and day between the two.
Yeah, Dexter has to hide everything. Arthur Mitchell's got it in the open. And that's the correct way to... I mean, when you get away with it for, what, 28 years, you may as well have it out in the open. I mean, nothing to hide.
This would be like Dexter hanging his syringes and his scalpels up in the living room table, you know? It just wouldn't really work.
No, it wouldn't work, but here, that whole garage is full of murder weapons. They've all been cleaned.
Yeah, they've all been cleaned. At the start of the episode, we see Arthur Mitchell trying to clean the souls. He is leading a rendition of Are You Washed in the Blood? So Arthur Mitchell, he's a big religious guy, and then we see that Dexter doesn't believe in religion, doesn't really believe in anything, just believes in the code.
I believe in killing people.
Although, could you argue religion's a code?
I guess you could. Everyone's got their own code, though.
No, I agree.
It's not compatible with others.
Dexter looks at Arthur Mitchell and he's thinking he's camouflaging in, so he's blending in to you know his real life, to the open world, and there's nobody that can see what he does at home. Dexter's given the cold shoulder by Rita. You know, I think Rita's become more unlikable season by season. I mean, she's been on Dexter's back, it feels like, pretty much from the beginning of season 4, making sure he's getting everything for Harrison, telling him to run, get nappies here, run, get nappies there. He then has a car crash and he tries to downplay the effects of it, and she gets upset about that. Now she's upset about the apartment. I mean, it's just like she's so upset about every little thing. And, I mean, at this point, you're wondering, should Dexter just be a single guy? I mean, would he have really brought any more attention to himself if he didn't have this life with Rita? Not convinced.
Yeah, Rita...
How much easier would Dexter's life be, though? He'd have a lot more slides in his blood cabinet.
That is for sure.
If he was on his own.
Yeah, it's just like, Rita needs to know her role, man. Look what he used to have with Paul. Dexter is light years clear of that. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, is he perfect? Is he perhaps the husband that she ideally wants? No, but I mean, he's not the worst guy ever. Well, he's kind of bad, but she doesn't know that.
He's just a druggie.
He can be bad. So even when he puts his lamp in a certain position from his old apartment, she's like, it doesn't belong here, and just puts the lamp away. And it's like, the guy can't win. The guy can't even put his lamp in whatever places he wants. He gives Deborah a ride to the station. She's going to watch the interrogation of Nicky Wald. Dexter gets a call to come to a crime scene of the bludgeoning. And when he tells Deb there's a bludgeoning, she knows what it's going to be, because that's exactly where Lundy predicted it, and she thinks that they could have stopped it if they weren't shot.
It looks that way, right down it was 100 something, wherever the address was. And Deborah is getting close to this, but Dexter wants her as far away as possible.
Of course he does. The victim...
How do you know that, Deborah?
El Dorman, he's been laying there for 2 days because the building was closed all weekend.
That's right, El Dorman. It's almost like the security guard. He was the doorman. Earl
Yeah.
Doorman.
The AC was turned off, and
The roots are shit.
yeah, the smell's not great. We see the blood splatter. It's not ideal. Dexter then points. He sees that the fingers pointing towards a smudge of ash on the wall, and he tries to collect the sample. But Masuka manages to catch him, and he takes the sample off him. He's like, "You're the blood guy. There's enough blood here. I'll take that." And later on, we actually see that Masuka manages to compare both DNAs, and he compares the saliva that was used to, well, basically it's ashes. So he manages to compare the ashes and the saliva. Obviously, saliva was used to kind of like stick the ashes to the wall, and it turns out that they're a match. They're both in the same family, both got the same DNA, which could be a big clue.
I mean, it could be a big clue, but obviously Dexter knows that this has been left for a reason. Alright, this has been left for a reason. The rest of them might think he's been sloppy here, but at the end of the day, how sloppy would you need to be to get your own saliva with a big thumbprint of the ashes on the wall? It's a, see, for that to be like sloppy and not to be meant, you would. I mean, how would you have the ashes on you to begin with?
Yeah, maybe he carries around a wee baggie of them, but when you're not in the database, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely not. You're not. He's not in the database, and that's what you can do though. But see, once you're in the database, see how much that limits you.
Yeah. So once you become a criminal,
you may as well retire.
Yeah. Probably the people that get away with shit are probably first time criminals. Imagine if you're a heavy criminal, like it's going to be harder to get away with stuff like this.
No, absolutely.
So what I would serial killers that get away with stuff for a long time, I would imagine have never been in trouble with the law before, and it's probably their first attempt.
I'd say
just
so.
with DNA, isn't it? DNA, not TNA, DNA. The way it is, I guess. I mean, if you're already in the database, you can just get caught so easily. So I mean, that kind of makes sense. We see Arthur washing his tools, making sure there's no DNA on those hammers. Deb is watching Nikki Wall get interrogated. Quinn tells Deb she needs to stop watching that. It's only going to fuck her up. She tells Quinn she's already fucked up, so hi. Batista and LaGuerta are talking. She feels bad about him getting transferred, but he says, look, it doesn't matter. He's going to be safer behind a desk anyway, less chance of getting shot, but she feels like she's responsible for this, and she does try and talk Matthews out of it, but I mean, Matthews just seems to be Matthews. He's going to make his own decisions.
I like Matthews, right? I think he's a pretty serious, fun character, I guess, at the same time, like important character, but it's like, has this guy not got a role beyond this? It's like, look what's going on. There's a big serial killer in town. I don't really know too much about it.
Frank Lundy's deed, the fuck.
Yeah, Frank Lundy's deed, his partner. You know, could somebody not go and speak to him about
Well, I don't think he's not his partner, like, but I mean, I'm assuming he's got respect for the guy.
He knew him, man. Respect, yeah. Well, you know, you get Harry Morgan. I'm sure you could get a wee mention in there, and that'll get the blood pumping. But it's like, is this really the best we've got for this guy? I believe we didn't see him at all during season 3.
Don't think so. I think he took some time off.
And now we're back with him, and it's like, oh, he's right. What did he say? It's like, this is like fucking middle school shit. He's right on the money.
Yeah, so Maria and Angel, they come to this agreement that they're going to tell Matthews that they've split up and that they've signed affidavits, so they're going to obviously just pretend that, you know, that they're not seeing each other. And he says if he finds out that they're lying, then there will be career-ending, consequences. But he's sick of this. He's like, it's like, kids stuff, ground stuff, school ground stuff. And I mean, I guess it is 1 minute they're a relationship, the next minute they're not. So they'll need to be careful. We go to a therapist's office. Rita and Dexter are doing therapy. The therapist though kind of says to Rita, you know what man Dexter was before you married him, so maybe this is on you. And she says that she needs either total honesty or a divorce, one or the other.
To be honest, see at this rate, man, Dexter, we should just go for the divorce. It's getting ridiculous. It really is. Like, see this whole therapy thing though. It's like, it's so like centered in the favor of Rita. It's like, what's the fucking point of Dexter even being here? And do you know, I actually feel like that. I think when you watch most shows, see the person that actually put the therapy in motion, I feel like that's who the therapist is going to be closer towards. I think
Yeah,
you've
but she
seen that
did.
in The Sopranos as well. See, like Dr. Melfi side it with Tony anytime Carmel was in there with him. And I think this is kind of the same. So you're
And when you,
playing with one arm tied behind your back?
when you think about it, she should not have been siding with Tony
Oh, absolutely not.
because she kind of knows what Tony does. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not officially, but she knows like what kind
she
of guy Tony
knows.
is.
This
Um,
therapist though doesn't know what Dexter does.
no, definitely not. We see Dexter smashing some skulls with a hammer. I'm sure he loved this. Smashing some skulls to try and get the right hammer, try and find out what kind of type it was, model it was. This is when Masuka explains about the DNA. So they're going to get that. You see, Deborah looks over at the whiteboard. LaGuerta is erasing names that they've solved cases with, but Lundy's name is still there. The Lundy case remains unsolved. Might never be resolved.
Yeah, it might never be resolved. Solved. Good night. Unsolved mysteries on Dave channel or something. But Big Lundy. You know what? I like the fact that Lundy he still feels alive in this show.
He does.
More details, and it's like every Dexter's finding more stuff out about Arthur. It's like Lundy found that out back in 1996. It's like big Frankie boy.
He is. Dexter then tries to help Rita do the dishes, thinking that this will somehow be a conversation starter, but he doesn't know what conversation he wants to have. Can't talk about work, can't talk about Trinity. Could talk
Too
about
personal. Not enough.
Could talk about food. He tells her that he's hungry, but she says they're out of bread again. So Dexter, maybe he'll think about that when he's buying her a gift later on. We then see at the church Dexter and Arthur. They meet each other for the first time. Trinity Killer introduces himself as Arthur Mitchell. Dexter, though, introduces himself as Kyle Butler, not Dexter Morgan.
Hello, Kyle Butler. Yeah, I mean, should Dexter have introduced himself as Dexter Morgan? I mean, honestly, no, because, like, this is one guy you do not want to give your name, address, and, like, I mean, say this guy did a tenth of looking into Dexter, like, blood splatter analysis? I mean, come on. That's immediate red flags there. Kyle, whatever his name is, the 4C, no link to a job, no link to nothing, lost his the kids.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's working with, he's working with Lundy, and then all of a sudden Lundy gets shot, and he turns up at Arthur Mitchell's store. How obvious would that look?
Yeah, so he's got to do this at the end of the day, but Arthur doesn't let the mask slip.
He doesn't.
Well, not until later on.
He talks about the 4 walls, 1 heart, that he builds homes for the homeless. So, coming across the nice guy, Kyle Butler takes one of the flyers, and he says that his wife's kicked him out the house, and he took the kids, and he doesn't know where else to go. Arthur assures Kyle that he's come to the right place. So, I mean, not complete bullshit for Dexter. I guess he was kind of, leaning on what's happening in his personal life, that maybe he is close to a divorce.
Yeah, it looks like he's close to a divorce. It's a 50-50 chance at this stage of the game.
Yeah, Christine is at Quinn's apartment. She wants to get an interview with Deb because her editor wants more on the Vacation murders. But Quinn is like, absolutely not, that's not happening. Because her brother, he's got it in for me, and I don't think Quinn wants to rock that boat. Deb then phones Quinn, speaks to him outside, and says that she's going to identify Nikki Law. She's going to be an eyewitness, but Quinn tells her not to, because if it goes bad, it'll fuck up her career. Plus, I mean, technically, that would make Deborah a dirty cop, because she would be lying.
Dirty Harry, Dirty Deborah. You know what, right? I thought this was good, because it was very reactionary for Deborah, and then she didn't end up going through it. Going through with something like this would have been ridiculous, because as this, what's her name again? The
Nikki Walsh.
Nikki, right? She doesn't even remember really, and then she does kind of
She's a junkie.
Right, she's a junkie. What if Deborah says, "Oh yes, I saw 100%," blah blah blah? Then a day later, evidence get put forward, the CCTV footage at the time they both get shot, and she was halfway across the state of Florida.
Yeah, that wouldn't look good.
That's when you're snookered, and you know what?
And I'm assuming as a cop, that would pretty much ruin your career.
No, it wouldn't. I think that's what Quinn was kind of pointing out. If this happens, this is reaction, and this is why you can't do things like. See, if you're going to do something like this, you need to be 100% dirty, where the person that you're framing is snookered, there's no way out of it.
Yeah.
You can't be half in or half out. You need to be fully in or fully out.
Yeah, Deborah then goes to speak with Nikki outside of her holding cell, and she says that she's going to testify. She's going to say that I seen you do it because Nikki won't admit it. Nikki says you're a liar. Deborah says, well, doesn't matter. I'm going to say that you did it. She says, I didn't kill that old man, and Deb loses control. This gets her pretty angry. She grabs Nikki by the face, and then she says, imagine if you had to lay there and watch the guy that you love die. And then she went, oh, wait, you did that. You killed your boyfriend, you sicko. And Nikki cries, and then Deb just looks on at her as Nikki screams that if you testify, then you're a you're a liar, as Walt Jr. once said.
You're a liar. Yeah, you can't. It's like at this point, I mean, you've heard it from her herself here. Like, there's no reason really for her to lie. She's already admitted to about 20 counts of murder. Like, so I mean, I guess Frank Lundy would probably warrant the death penalty, but then you think she's probably going to get the death penalty anyway.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. Who knows? Frank Lundy's a pretty important character. At least he was. At the build site, Arthur is hammering nails into the frame of a new house, and he's using the murder weapon here, so it's in plain sight. He doesn't care. He's not hiding it. He's not coming out in the dark. He's not keeping it locked away in a trunk in a secret apartment like Dexter. He's got it out in plain sight, and Dexter can't quite believe it. He needs to learn more. He's almost like Dexter is, I don't want to say he admires. Well, he kind of does, because he's weird in a way that he doesn't like what Arthur Mitchell does, but he's kind of like fascinated with his family and his personal life and how he separates them both.
No, he is fascinated, and you know what though? I feel like you have to get away for 28 years. You have to do what Trinity's been doing. It's literally keeping it right out in the open. You've seen like he has his son well, structured. See that scene when Dexter's like interacting with him. His son is absolutely played by that's my dad. He's a great guy.
Best dad ever.
Give me the car. You know what he did? Dex? Give me the car 2 days ago, brother. I love you, brother.
But then Arthur looks over and Jonah's like, oh, gotta get back to work. My dad doesn't like idle hands. So, yeah.
See, I thought maybe Trinity would have looked over, why is Dexter talking to my son? But this was what the fuck are you doing, Jonah?
Get back to work kind of deal. So, Jonah gets back to work. Dexter is coming home with bags for his apartment, or at least that's what Rita thinks, but it turns out it's not. It's merchandise, and he's bought some gifts. So he's bought electronics for the kids, he bought an Uzi for the baby, and he brought Rita a bread maker. And he says, he got the bread maker because they're always running out of bread, but Rita says, we're always running out of milk. Did you buy me a cow too? Rita tells him they don't need gifts. So she says, you just need to talk to me. Dexter's like, talk about what? And Rita cracks up and says, how hard can it be before storming off? And Dexter's sitting there thinking, I really thought my gifts would work. And I mean, Rita just not happy with Dex.
She's not, but it's like, I mean, I get this. Some people do just buy their children gifts in order to make up for the lost time that they spent with him. But it's like, no matter what Dexter can do here, he can't win. It's like, yeah, you know what? If Dexter actually had emotion, I think you could definitely view the bread maker as a dig, almost. But here, I thought the cow line for Rita was pretty good. But we've already got a cow at home. The name begins with R.
Dexter's the bread maker, or is he the breadwinner?
Yo, this whole apartment thing is just right. Season 2, right? We watched it a year ago. I don't really see when he slept with Lila. Were these two kind of not on a break?
Yeah, I would say so.
So, and they weren't married, and
because she was pretty jealous of Dexter being with Rita, and because she was attractive, and then she didn't really like the fact that Dexter was spending a lot of time with Rita, and I mean, she was pretty much accusing him of sleeping with Rita when he hadn't, and then they kind of took a break, and then when they kind of got back together, she was like, I shouldn't have accused you of that. And he was like, well, I kind of already done it now. So, I mean, it kind of was a break, but whatever.
Yeah, it was a break, but again, it's like, just get off him, Rita, man. Jesus Christ. It's like, I'm not saying Rita should just accept, lying, right? But it's like, to take it to these extreme levels, it's like, and as a therapist points out, it's like, here, you married Dexter because you thought he could change. What about Paul, brother?
what about Paul?
It's like, compare Dexter or Paul, man. Dexter's a saint.
I know. could still be getting battered by him. So
What, did Paul batter her when she was on a break? Was that the exception? Jeez, oh, come on, reel it in.
Deb's at the station. She speaks to Quinn, says, "Look, just because Nicky's a piece of shit and my dad was a lying sack of shit doesn't mean I have to be." She says she's no longer going to accuse Nicky of being the shooter. She's no longer going to be an eyewitness because she doesn't believe that Nicky was the shooter. She says she's gone through Lundy's research and she knows some of it is missing. Someone broke into the apartment and stole Lundy's stuff. Quinn doesn't buy it though, and he thinks that Deborah's basically chasing a ghost here, and that she's going kind of crazy. Tells her just to go home and relax, and Deborah's like, "And do what? Paint my nails?" But Quinn tells her, you got to let this go. It's not healthy. It's not good.
I don't get Quinn here. It's like, hold on. Deborah was literally in his apartment 5 minutes before they got shot, seen all this evidence there, and now it was never logged in. I do not get Quinn here. I get it. He was on her ass about this. Like, yeah, you need to let this go. Deb, not everything's a serial killer, but surely this points towards something.
Yeah, I know, but there's no proof that it existed. Like, so it's just Deborah's word. So maybe they're thinking.
She's a cop.
Yeah, but maybe they're thinking here, this is too personal for you, and you're traumatized or whatnot.
You don't see my point though.
No, I do, but
what doesn't help Deborah's case though is that like 10 minutes prior, she's willing to frame Nicky for a murder she didn't actually do.
Yeah, now she thinks she doesn't do it. She's kind of all over the place, and I think that's what he means. He's like, you just need to take a back step here and let this go. Kyle Butler, that big superstar, cuts himself on purpose to get into Arthur's house. Arthur brings him in. He's like, "Oh, Kyle, I'll get that for you. Don't worry, I will get the first aid kit." So he comes in. Kyle Butler, Dexter, goes into the house and he sees all the trophies from the four walls, all the plaques on the wall where they've been given awards, and Dexter then looks at the dates and he manages to link them up with all the kills. So it turns out that Arthur Mitchell has been using his charity, the homeless charity, the Four Walls community, to go and basically travel around America and set up charities and do his killings, do his rituals well, camouflaging basically as this nice guy that builds homes for the homeless, and all the awards he's got links up with the dates of all the kills, which was pretty cool to see. And then Dexter's like, "Holy shit, this would be like me keeping my blood slides out and hanging them on the wall with the dates and the names of the victims."
No, I thought it was a really good scene because it solidifies like Frank Lundy's credentials. He was on the right path the entire time. Just couldn't. He had all the right ideas, but couldn't get it over the line. But it's a bit different to blood slides. It's like, yeah, this puts Arthur Mitchell in the locations where all these murders happen, but it just shows you like how much to a degree, like Dexter figuring out like what happened to each of his family members, and then the way he recreates those like deaths.
Yeah, so Dexter before this just found out that how his mother, sister, and father died, and basically he's recreating the same trio of deaths with the bathtub, the suicide, and then the bludgeoning. So,
but see, what the crucial thing is though, it's like Dexter, because he's not playing it by the book, he's able to figure out it's him, then do all this stuff. If it's Lundy, he might just arrest, Trinity.
Right, without
proof, and then he won't be able to like figure out or do dirty tactics in order to actually find out all this stuff.
Lundy's not going to go up to Arthur Mitchell and pretend to be somebody else.
Aye.
Oh, my name's
Lundy Frank.
Lundy Frank. my fucking half my age girlfriend's just kicked me out.
Yeah.
So
Kyle.
We then see Dexter pick up the ashes. He notices his sister. He picks up the urn. I mean, he looks inside the urn and it was just a bit fucking weird. But then he decides here, maybe he can get a reaction from Arthur, try and see the real Arthur. And he certainly does get a reaction. Arthur comes over, takes the ashes off Dexter, puts them down, looks pretty calm. And then grabs Dexter by the throat, pushes his arm into his throat against the wall. And he's like, "Don't touch my sister." Pretty weird coming from Arthur, someone accusing Dexter of don't touching their sister, because it would kind of make you sound like you're being abusive or something to them.
No, it would, and I thought this scene was going to be like an imagination, like when Dexter imagined he was screaming about Miguel, but it wasn't, and this was actually for real. So yeah, Arthur Mitchell probably for the first time losing his control to an outsider.
Yep, Dexter says, well, if they're so important to you, then why do you keep them? And he's like, well, it's my home.
It is pretty weird. Like what Dexter was doing, it's like he didn't really explain why he was doing it. It was kind of, oh, you said make myself at home. Does that really pass though? Does that give you permission to open an urn and start like sniffing it?
I don't think so.
I mean, I think maybe what would have passed more as he was walking in, you knocked it over and it broke. But I feel like if he did that, he would have
dead.
Oh,
I think that framing hammer would have been wrapped
up his arse.
So, yeah, basically, Dexter tries to learn a bit more about, and Arthur says that his family would understand if they seen him upset like that. So it is what it is. Arthur then gives Dexter a bag of tools, including the hammer. He says, I thought you should have your own for the next build. It's the least I can do. Dexter thanks Arthur for giving him the murder weapon. But it's clean, so there's nothing really Dexter could do with it anyway. But he does let LaGuerta know about the murder weapon earlier in the episode, because he already found it essentially before. So it is what it is. We then see Arthur push open a bathroom door. There's a crack, and maybe you think we're going to get another kill, but we know the cycle's already complete, and he can't be beginning it again so soon. And it's actually his wife. He joins his wife in the bathtub, and we see Arthur Mitchell smiling, but then he lowers the mirror and we just see him looking very miserable. So, I mean, I guess he is just like Dexter, where it's all fake.
It is all fake, but it's just seeing this guy crawl into a bath, man, it's just creepy.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Dexter then tells Rita that and again with the therapist, that he needs his own space, and Rita's like, well, if you need space, you can have space. At first, it's space for his tools. Well, it's space for himself, the therapist says. I think you need space for yourself. And Dexter's like, yeah, but I do need space for my stuff. My killing stuff. So, yeah, we then see Rita allow Dexter, I guess, to build this shed. And they've got this shed at the back of their house. And, I mean, I thought it was going to be like a little mini office. But, I mean, it looks like it's very cramped already. When you get Dexter's stuff in there, there's not a lot of room for anything else.
No, there's not. And again, it's like, if you needed a full entire apartment for all this stuff, is this wee shitey excuse of a shed going to cover it?
Surely a basement or an attic would be better.
Yeah, but this is kind of Dexter. Like, yeah, I'll let you have this one, Rita. We're a happy family again.
Yeah, so Rita gets the shed. There's a padlock, and Dexter's like, shouldn't we leave it out in the open? Shouldn't we leave the door open? She's like, no, because there's dangerous stuff in there with 3 young kids. So she gives Dexter this padlock. He locks it, and then the episode ends with him looking into the camera with a grin, because he's happy that he's getting to lock the door. And just before that, we got Dexter and Deborah in the kitchen, and Deb says she's got a feeling that Nicky Wall didn't kill Lundy, and she believes Trinity shot them, then stole Lundy's research. And Dexter knows that this isn't true, but he knows that the research was stolen because he's the one that stole it. And now he's thinking, God damn it, I need to keep my sister from finding out about the Trinity killer. And Dexter also gets revealed to him by Deborah that she knows who Harry was sleeping with.
Dun dun dun. Who could that have been?
And if Deborah's right, then this could this could be...
If it's Moser.
This could be Laura Moser, and this could be pretty bad for Dexter. But that's how the episode ends then, so... yeah, another good episode. Episode 6 of Season 4, If I Had a Hammer. And yeah, it's time to now rate it.
Rate it. I'll give it an 8. I think last episode was a wee bit better, but I still really enjoyed this, and the Trinity Killer's fantastic, so 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, people do say the Trinity Killer's the best antagonist of the series, and I think he's definitely up there. Like, he might be. I think he might be. There's been some good antagonists so far. I mean, people say Dokes. I don't really consider Dokes an antagonist. Dokes is a good cop at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's not an antagonist. No, he's not.
To me, to be an antagonist, you need to... If you're going to be...
If an antagonist is trying to stop a serial killer, then I don't really know what I don't really know what a protagonist is then.
Lundy's considered an antagonist.
Dokes is an antagonist to Dexter. He's not an antagonist to us.
Yeah. Well, Lundy's considered an antagonist.
Aye, to...
Because, but I mean...
Trinity?
But at the end of the day, I mean... No, to Dexter.
Oh, aye, yeah, true.
Because,
yeah.
He was trying to
find
find who the Bay Harbour Butcher was, so... At the end of the day, I mean, Dokes, Lundy, they're protagonists to me. Brian Moser, Arthur Mitchell, Miguel, but then again, if Miguel's an antagonist, doesn't that make Dexter an antagonist? Technically.
Yeah.
So
where do you draw the line, though?
Nah.
Like, everyone's got an antagonist, even if you're the greatest guy of all time, but then you're probably his antagonist.
I would draw the line at antagonist bad guy, protagonist good guy.
Yeah.
I think that's the line. I think that's where the line should be drawn. Anyway, guys, that is it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as well. Very good. It is season 4, the best episode of Dexter. Halfway through it, what do you think compared to 1, 2, and 3? Now, I would say that 1, I think, was overall consistently great. I think season 2 maybe started off a little bit slow, and certainly in the second half was fantastic. And then season 3, I think, was just, I mean, it did rely heavily on Miguel and Dexter scenes, I think. But what at halfway point, what would you say? If you just compare season 4 at the halfway mark compared to the other 3 seasons?
I would probably say it would go 1, 4, 2, 3.
1, 4, 2, 3. Alrighty. Alright, guys, that's it. 1, 4, 2, 3. We'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.